Hi, it's AidanEyewitness, and I'm out and about in Manchester city centre in the superb, sunny, cold weather of January 2023. And in this edition of AidanEyewitness, I'm going to take a look at a few of the new tall buildings in Manchester with the aid of some drone footage for the first time on the channel. And I'm using my essential piece of photographic and filmmaking equipment, my Brompton bicycle. That gets me around to the different locations much quicker than if I was on foot. So let's go up and take a look at Manchester from a bird's eye point of view from that drone footage.
We ascend into the sky above the River Irwell, facing southeast, looking down onto the new St John's business and residential district. All around, new buildings are under construction, but right there in front of us is one of Manchester's oldest modernist-style buildings. Can you identify it? It's the former Granada TV building, completed in 1956, designed by Ralph Tubbs. This is how it looked in 2005, still with the iconic Granada TV lettering. ITV moved out to Salford Quays, and the building has been retained but remodelled. This is where the legendary broadcaster and music maverick Tony Wilson, as well as the producers of Coronation Street, World in Action and many other shows, made TV history. This legendary building will house offices and a new hotel, and the iconic Granada TV sign will return. Some studio spaces have been retained, so its media heritage will live on. Let's move over to that group of towers on the right. They are probably the most over-photographed and over-videoed buildings in the whole of Manchester. Let's go and take some photographs and video clips of them. They are the towers of Deansgate Square, designed by SimpsonHaugh architects and completed in 2020. They may be over-photographed, but it's not difficult to see why. Personally, I find them very inspiring and still think it's incredible that these buildings are in Manchester. To me, they are like the smaller cousins of New York's Twin Towers, reborn in Manchester. Maybe they could be called the Quad Towers. The four towers are 201, 158, 140 and 122 metres tall. The South Tower remains the tallest building in Manchester, for the present. With their glass exterior, blue colour, rectangular patterns and the four-cornered starfish cross-section, they are architectural eye candy. But what's it like to live in these buildings? Answers in the comments please. Between two of the towers we can see the Beetham Hilton Tower. That's the one that started off the tall building trend in Manchester. Also designed by architect Ian Simpson. He obviously left a gap between the new towers. We'll take a closer look at the Beetham later. Seen from next to Hume Park are three new tall companions for the Quad Towers. 360 on the right, the Blade to its left, and just behind it, the Elizabeth Tower. All three designed by SimpsonHaugh architects. I've been documenting the progress of the circular 360 building previously on this channel. Today, on the 21st of January 2023, construction has nearly reached the top. It will be 154 metres tall with 52 floors. The Blade is also 154 metres and the Elizabeth is 153 metres, 52 floors. These new towers stand right next to the Mancunian Way, reminding me very strongly of Sheikh Zayed Road in Dubai. Looking east along the Mancunian Way, there's currently just one tall building, River Street Tower, with no doubt more to come. At the base, 360 and the Blade are linked by a podium, so they could be considered as one building. Looking from the north of the site, we can see the trio of tall buildings, 360, Blade and Elizabeth, standing tall against the blue sky. They will be clearly visible from that plane flying at 36,000 feet overhead. It's the British Airways Edinburgh to Chambéry. These new buildings have transformed the area around the Hume roundabout, adding a new focus and vibe. I just find them utterly captivating from every angle. I just can't stop looking at them, photographing and videoing them. Let's go back up into the air now, facing southwest, and we can see that the drone is flying close to this tall building, currently nearing completion. It took a bit of online research, but I discovered that it's the first of a pair of residential towers originally named Nickel and Dime after the planned exterior colours. Architects are Denton, Corker, Marshall. This one is called St John's Tower 1 and is 36 stories, 118 metres tall. You can see the new Factory International Art Centre just next to it on the right. It's important to remember that this site is where the Granada Studios tour used to be. It's packed with heritage from the golden age of TV and from the Industrial Revolution era. This is just one of a number of tall buildings similar in shape to the 159-metre Beetham Tower. And what about the design? Is this going to be another Chrysler building, London Gherkin or Petronas Towers? Well, I suppose not every building can be a superstar. The commercial hub of the new St John's district is a building called Manchester Goods Yard, which reminds me of the Hudson Yards development in New York, also next to the river and on the west side of the Midtown area. That's another Manchester New York echo, I think. Okay, let's look at more drone footage taken from above the airwell, and I'm going to focus on that large tower on the left. It stands on Quay Street, just a few steps away from the former Granada building. This is number 1 Spinningfields. It's not the most famous or most photographed building in Manchester, but it's certainly one of the most massive, reaching 92 metres into the sky, but also extending 82 metres from one end to the other along Quay Street and 38 metres across. It was built on the site of the 60s building Quay House, and it's the tallest office building in Manchester since the CIS Tower from 1962. Inside the reception, there's a display about all its innovative features. The architects? Have a guess. SimpsonHaugh. Today's towers may have a superficial similarity to those of the 1960s, but they are much more advanced in other ways: energy consumption, floor layouts, safety features. Now we will move back up into the sky again to about 100 metres above street level. The drone is now facing northwest. In the lower right is the Civil Justice Centre, designed by Denton Corker Marshall Architects. But the drone is heading for the one straight ahead, the white, or rather pale grey tower. This is Riverview Tower, with 318 apartments contained within a 35-storey, 118-metre high-rise building. Next to it is Riverview Apartments, for people not so keen on heights. It's 17 stories, 190 apartments. They were both completed in 2020 and were designed by architects Denton Corker Marshall, a very prestigious international architectural practice. It's interesting that the Civil Justice Centre and Riverview Tower are just a few steps from each other on either side of the River Irwell. The design of Riverview Tower has been criticised. According to tour guide and commentator Jonathan Schofield, it's dull and the exterior is a pale deathly pallor. But is it really that ugly? On the roof there is an off-centre box containing a resident's private dining room and additional amenity areas. I like the box. Similar to the Beetham Hilton Tower, it has fins on the outside. The architects say these are for decorative purposes, but fins were added to the Beetham to stop noise caused by high winds. Whatever about the merits of its design and exterior colour, it still looks great, reflected in the now not so murky water of the River Irwell. In the afternoon sun, the deathly pallor turns into a golden glow. I would happily live in this building for the views, and as it's so convenient for the city centre, but nowadays I prefer to live further out. Let's return to the sky as the drone moves southwest along the River Irwell. In the lower left we can see the site of what is going to be a groundbreaking new building development, which I featured previously in my first Manchester Building Boom video of 2021. It's Trinity Islands and stands on a split site with the inner ring road, or so-called relief road, in between. Construction work has already started on the foundations on the side next to Regent Road, the A57, scene of endless traffic jams. You saw its earlier stages of construction here, so keep watching AidanEyewitness to see how things progress. And now let's float over to that venerable building, the Beetham Hilton Tower, the one that started off the post-millennium building boom in Manchester. I documented its progress right from the start in 2004 when it first appeared on the site of former railway arches, which connected the former goods warehouse to the Castlefield Viaduct. Looming above Chester Road in 2005, the construction looked overwhelming, and I took many photographs of it as it was built. I was lucky enough to be invited to go up to the top, and I took some photographs, including my Manchester megaphoto. The views from the roof are certainly stunning, though someone I know who lived there said that after a while he started to take them for granted and found the apartments undersized. He now also lives outside the city. This is how the Beetham Tower looks today, virtually identical to how it looked when it was first completed. It has drawn criticism for its simplistic design, but as architect Ian Simpson explained, the timescale and budget were limited. They had to do the best they could, with limited time and resources. The new buildings we saw earlier, with their larger scale and budget, have given the architects at SimpsonHaugh a much greater scope for creativity. And so that's it. Just a tiny glimpse, a mere snapshot of the progress of construction on the southwest side of Manchester city centre in early 2023. On numerous sites around the periphery and right in the centre, construction is in progress. Transformation is rapid and extensive. It's difficult to keep up with it all, so I'll take snapshots from different places at different times so that gradually we can gain a better understanding of the transformation that's in progress. For better or for worse, there's no going back now. Manchester is reaching higher and higher into the sky and seems to be changing every day. The old pre-building boom Manchester of just a couple of decades ago seems to grow more and more distant. Let's hope the city will retain its unique character, its relatively affordable cost of living, its can-do approach and friendly atmosphere that gives it the feel of a village. I hope you found this video interesting and maybe inspiring. Many thanks to Milo K for the drone footage. I've left a link to his channel in the description. Producing these videos takes a certain amount of time and effort, so if you'd like to support what I'm doing, go to the Ko-fi page, link in the description. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen, thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share and comment. I always love to receive interesting comments, and I think I have some of the best, so thank you in advance, and auf Wiedersehen in Manchester.